And now I'd like to invite our music director search committee forward to make a special announcement.
Well, good morning. It's good to be back. I promise no humor, no jokes about toilets and all that kind of stuff this time. I have completely flushed that right out of my system. Not going down that hole anymore. We're going to focus. It's really hard to stop, actually. Anyway, so good morning. It was in early January that after 20 years of ministry with us, Margaret announced she'd be leaving the Milford Presbyterian Church and retiring to return home to Maine. Without question, these were going to be some very big shoes to fill. And that's when we got the phone call. There were 7 of us who were called by the pastor and the session to serve on the search committee for the new music director. They were myself, Dan Denniston, Carolyn Gatesman, Kelly Holloway, Mary Mills, Bob Parrott, and Diana Spire. The session approved our committee on January 28th, and we began meeting almost weekly, beginning February 3rd. Initially, we explored just what Margaret's job entailed and what the new music director would be asked to do. We brainstormed and prioritized all kinds of criteria that we felt were important and interviewed many choir members as well as others who had participated in the music ministry here at the church to see what kind of a director we should be looking for. Common themes included someone with extensive choral directing experience, someone who was growth-focused, an ability to teach vocal technique and experience in music, specifically worship music, someone with great keyboard skills, the ability to grow a choir and develop musical opportunities for youth, someone with great conducting experience, someone who was comfortable with both younger and older choir members, and members who had all levels of experience, someone who was experienced with both traditional music and contemporary worship styles, someone who felt comfortable with choirs that typically fluctuate in numbers throughout the seasons. And before we go on, by the way, this just doesn't exist anymore. No one graduates with a degree in organ performance. You can't even get one anymore. So someone who is able to do this and all of this and all the wonderful things we've been enjoying for many years is really tough to find. We've been incredibly blessed to have both Margaret and someone with Rick's abilities to share and develop our worship experience, and we are incredibly grateful. So thank you. So, by February 18th, the session had approved the job description, and by the end of the month, the music director opening had been announced on the American Guild of Organists website, Facebook and Twitter, Indeed.com, our church website, Craigslist, as well as announcements had been sent out to the music departments of Wayne State University, the University of Michigan, and Michigan State University. And the inquiries began to flood in. We were amazed by the depth and breadth of the candidate pool we were about to encounter. We had over 20 applicants from over 6 different states across the country. Their ages ranged from just out of college looking for their first job to someone being willing to come out of retirement to work with us. We received our first response in early March and conducted interviews with over half of these candidates over the next 2 weeks. By April, we narrowed down our candidate pool to our top 4 candidates, and we felt these deserved a second interview, a chance to audition either personally or via Skype, and to interview with the pastor. Those candidates included 2 men and 2 women from very diverse backgrounds and came from Michigan, Mississippi, and New York State. And that's when our real work began. Any one of these 4 candidates would have been a fantastic new music director. Each one of them brought a different combination of skills we were looking for. Some were heavyweights with conducting experience, while others were excellent keyboardists. Some had master's degrees in vocal performance, some were local, and some were relocating to our area. Some were permanently planted in Michigan, and others would be here only for a short time while pursuing higher degrees in music. Some had extensive worship experience, and some had none. But all of them had wonderful passion for music, but none of them were Margaret, and none of them had her perfect combination of skills. That's when we decided that finding perfect wasn't our goal. What we needed was to find the best fit for our choir, for our church, for our culture, and for our future. Reevaluating our candidates, we knew we'd found our choice. And I invite Carolyn to come up and talk a little bit about this nominee.
Thank you, Dean. So, our nominee, from a music education standpoint, he has a Master's of Music in Voice Performance and an undergrad in music education. Our nominee's experience leading and directing as a music director at Greenfield Village, an artistic director for the Dearborn Community Chorus, a founder and executive director of the Singers of United Land, an international singing quartet, minister of music at First United Methodist Church, leading an adult choir, 2 levels of children's choir, starting and led a praise band. Our nominee's experience in teaching both adults and children's, both as a music teacher and an adjunct instructor, primary, secondary, and university levels. And our nominee's global experience and perspective. Through performances and conferences, been to 41 countries on 5 continents. This is not on here, and I can't believe I forgot this, but very deep in faith and a love for sacred music, sharing this love for devotion in many ways throughout his life. And besides that, how could we pass someone who's broken the Guinness Book of World Records in the longest singing marathon by an individual for 75 hours? So it is published in the 2009 book. It happened in 2007. So talk about stamina. Please welcome our new music director, Marcus LaPratt.